Hey, everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. Hope your week is off to a fabulous start. Happy Monday. And I am filming this just after the Taurus new moon. And I'm telling you what, astrologically speaking, we have spent the last probably 6 months in just shit energy. Very challenging, a lot of retrogrades, a lot of emotional stuff coming to the surface for healing, and it has been rough. But the good news is, moving forward, things should be smoothing out a bit. And it's looking like we're going to finally see why we've had the shitstorm over the last 6 months and start to see some of the things that just seemed stagnant and on hold. We couldn't advance, couldn't make progress, coming to fruition, coming to a culmination, finally reaping the rewards for our efforts. So if you feel like the last 6 months have been just ridiculous, hang tight. Hang tight. We're going to be seeing everything come to a point of understanding, clarity, forward progression. So hang in there. We're almost there. And for today's topic, we're going to be using the soul's journey. And let's see what we've got for our topic for today. Because I tell you what, if there wasn't a point of ending to what seems like the last 6 months, that it feels more like 6 years. Let me know if that resonates with you, if you feel like the last 6 months have just been such a struggle in trying to get things to just come together, and seeing that, oh my gosh, actually what I'm doing is useful. Because boy, that's what I've been feeling. I am so excited about this new energy. Today we have pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. And that's something that I think pride is a very misunderstood concept anymore. There's nothing wrong with pride. Having pride in a job well done, having pride in just our everyday activities, being proud of yourself when you choose the hard thing over the easy thing, or you choose the new thing that's outside your comfort zone and you stretch yourself. Because so many of our biggest achievements are the quiet little things we do every day that no one else really sees. And those are some of our greatest struggles. If you try to quit smoking, quit drinking, if you're trying to get into better health, lose weight, exercise, those daily choices are something we can take pride in. It is not bad to have pride in our accomplishments. And there's a difference between being proud of ourselves and the hard work that we've put in and the effort we've put in to achieve the things we desire, than it is to be prideful and boastful. You don't want to go around rubbing things in people's faces, because that's negative. We're looking at the positive aspects of pride, and the fact that so many times we don't take the time to give ourselves credit because we don't want to be prideful. Taking credit for what you've accomplished is not prideful. You deserve that. And you deserve to feel proud of yourself when you reach the goals that you've set. When you haven't even reached the goal you've set yet, but you've taken that step to get there. Being proud of coming through a difficult phase in your life and coming out the other side stronger, with more knowledge, with more wisdom. Being proud of yourself when you take the high road in a conversation, in an encounter with someone who's being difficult. Pride is a very healthy thing for us to feel, as long as it's not being used as a weapon against others, because the dark side of pride, I think it's only appropriate to discuss the dark side of pride if we're going to go with the light side of it. So the darker, more negative side of pride is when we use it as a way to establish our self as better than others. That's where the prideful would be. So to, delineate between the two. On the positive side of pride is just taking pride in your accomplishments and your efforts, and knowing that you're doing the difficult things day by day to reach your desired outcomes, or pulling off a kick-ass presentation at work. Be proud of that. That takes effort. You put a lot into that. Be proud of what you've accomplished. On this side of it, if you use that pride as a way of saying, I'm better than you are because of this. When you're in a conversation with someone, and this is, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but it's so exhausting. You're proud of an accomplishment and you share it and you're like, yeah, I mean, the greatest thing, I just had this killer presentation at work today. I am so proud of myself. I put so much work into that. And you give a few details, and then someone else is like, oh yeah, well, I did this and this happened and there were 3,000 people at my event and I had to talk on this topic that was so hard, and like demeaning your accomplishment, taking away from your moment where you're just sharing it and you're bubbling over with all of this, like, relief that it went well, and the feeling of gratitude that the work that you put into it paid off, and then somebody wants to just shit on it. That's prideful. So I hope that helps to show the difference. But by all means, when we take the time, put in the effort, and accomplish something difficult, because let's be honest, anytime we step outside our comfort zone and we start going against our old behavior patterns, that shit is hard. It's hard. And like when I wrote the book, Get Your Shit Together, the principles that I have in that book, it's hard, but it's worth it. And I'm even more in touch with that right now. If you watched the videos last week, I was talking about how I'm currently uh, neurocompromised because of exposure to toxic mold. Well, I was on treatment and getting better, and then I ended up moving into an environment that had more mold. Well, previously, I had one neurotoxin, and I was already struggling, but I was using the principles in the book to kind of keep myself on course. It's still very much about maintaining control of your thoughts and the awareness of, hey, there's some crazy shit going on in my brain. I need to stay on top of this. Well, that was one neurotoxin. I moved into the new environment and picked up a second neurotoxin. And throughout my mold adventure, I've only had one neurotoxin that I've been working on. And so to have two was outrageously difficult. I was having a hard time maintaining, and it's very much like someone with a brain tumor where you lose sight of your thoughts and emotions. Where, like, I could have clear thoughts, but when emotions got involved, I would get thrown completely off kilter. My perspective was not right. There was a whole lot going on in my head that I did not have control of. And I was using the concepts in the book to try and maintain that. However, that's exhausting. So, uh, 6 weeks ago, I moved into a new environment. I've been so on top of my head, trying to get things straightened out and maintain. And I mean, like, that is hard. So today, at this point, almost 7 weeks later, I am very proud of what I've accomplished because I'm very much more me now than I was. Am I still fighting the neurotoxins? Yes. However, because I invested so much into getting into a healthier environment, making sure my diet was clean, water, all the, like going over the top with keeping track of my thoughts, trying to be aware of moments when I was not, my perspective was not right, so that I didn't punish the people around me with my issue. And because at this point, I'm like 80-20, 80% on it, 20% somebody has to let me know. I'm proud of that because, y'all, that is exhausting. And that's why in the book, I even talk about how when we first make the effort to do something new, like keeping track of our thoughts, it requires so much more energy, and we have to really pay attention to taking care of our other pieces. If we're working on our thoughts, we need to make sure we are taking very good care of our body, getting enough rest, getting proper nutrition. If you're trying to quit smoking, that's another thing because all of that is mental. It's mental. You have to stay on top of that mental voice that's telling you it would just be easier to have another cigarette. Would it? Yeah, it would be easier. But if you really want to quit smoking, then you're just setting yourself back. And having that mental argument, however many times a day, is exhausting. If we don't take care of our physical vessel when we're running the battles in the mind, or emotional, when we're going through grief, when we're going through times of transition that are very unsettling, we've got to make sure that we are taking care of every other aspect of us to keep us healthy while we focus on fixing this. So be proud of your accomplishments and know that even if someone else has not been through the situation you're dealing with, so they can't understand the amount of effort it takes or how challenging it is for you, don't look outside of you to get the recognition before you allow yourself to be proud of what you've accomplished. Because if you talk to someone else who can't understand your path or what it has taken or how things have been for you during that period of time, they're not going to have the ability to acknowledge what a great accomplishment it is. But you know, because you were there, you were there in the trenches, just dragging yourself along to get to the other side on sheer will and determination because of your strong desire to reach this point. Be proud of you. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. The flip side of that, too, is after you've gotten to that point where you are proud of your accomplishment, not only will you have more respect, trust, and love for yourself, you will have so much more compassion for other people when they go through struggles. Even if it isn't the same thing you dealt with, your heart will immediately recognize in another person, you're a badass. What you're dealing with right now, you are so fucking tough for what you're going through right now and how you're facing it because you know you've been there. Situation may not be the same. Be proud of you. Recognize in others, if you see someone who's struggling, let them know, look, I'm really proud of you. That means so much when you're in that struggle. I see how much effort you're putting into this situation. I'm really proud of you for what you're accomplishing. I know it's not easy. You know, I see myself in others. Acknowledge it, witness it. Witness it for you and witness it for others. Tell them you're proud of them. Be proud of you. If we take the time to acknowledge each other and the battles and struggles, and it's just so empowering to feel seen, to feel heard, especially when you do that for you. So, today, think of something that you've really been working on, putting your heart into, no matter what the outcome has been thus far, or how you feel you've progressed, or whatever, be proud of you. Because I guarantee, no matter where you're at in the process, you're a lot further along than you were when you first decided to start. So, give yourself credit. Be proud of you. And just so you know, I'm already proud of you. I don't know your situation. Obviously, if you're on YouTube and you're trying to do things to create new situations in your life, new opportunities, you're farther ahead than where you started. And I'm proud of you for that. It takes courage to take that first step, and we just have to keep going and giving ourselves kudos for each little bit of progress that we make. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon.